All right. So over the weekend, we got some interesting news that from George Newbern, the voice of Superman, basically letting it slip that Injustice 3 is coming out. Yep, he literally said, "Yeah, I did work for Injustice. I did some work for Injustice 3, and now that video is coming out. Like that game, we don't have a time frame yet for that video game, but what we do know is that it is. It looks like it's all but confirmed." So finally, yes, Injustice 3. Hopefully, it won't be a clusterfuck like Warner Brothers Studios has really been like fucking with everyone's work, like Rocksteady with um, Rocksteady with what was I gonna say? Kill the Justice League, and also how they basically fucked around with Mortal Kombat 1. So hopefully they've learned like Warner Brothers games have learned their lesson. I'm really praying that they have indeed learned their lesson because I don't think I can do that shit again. Um, with microtransactions and things like that. So hopefully that won't be the case. But yeah, the fact that we are getting Injustice 3 finally, we don't have a set date or anything. All that it is that George Newbern let it slip that he's, that the game is coming out. He did voice work for the game. So we do know it's coming out at some point. Probably get an announcement, like an official announcement sometime during the winter, maybe. Who knows? But yeah, I'm excited. The Injustice universe, while I don't care for the universe itself, because you know me, I hate, I don't like evil Superman. So, and in an era now that we're trying, like, that's another thing, is that now that, like, James Gunn's Superman is, like, slowly pushing the narrative back of a good Superman, again, rather than just dark Superman, it really makes me wonder as to how much of this is going to, how much is this going, how much of this is going to really apply. Are we going to have the Superman from the reality we know, or is it going to be regime Superman again coming out and, fucking shit up and finally realizing, oh, I was the bad guy all along? Who knows what that plan is? I don't know we don't know what the story is, and we don't know what ending they're going to go with. That's the other thing. Like, if you guys remember, yeah, the ending of the Injustice video game had two vastly different endings, where in one ending you had what I guess you could call the good ending, with Clark being sent to the Phantom Zone, and the bad ending where Clark uses Brainiac's tech to enslave the world, which they kind of make the canon ending in Justice League versus Injustice versus Masters of the Universe. So I don't count that as like a canon ending because that was a crossover in of itself, and that comic is no longer, like, that comic rights to He-Man are now at Dark Horse, so I'm pretty sure that's non-canon to begin with. But it was interesting that they picked an official ending right there. So we will see which ending they go with and which will be the canon ending. I would actually be there's a part of me that's like, I wonder if they would have the balls to say the canon ending, the bad ending, was the canon ending. I wonder if they would do that. So yeah, but again, who knows? What kind of storyline they'll use? Maybe multiverse again, like in the first game. Maybe they'll do like the Anti-Monitor or the Monitor or Imperiex or Darkseid. Who knows? Like, there's so many ways this game could go. There's literally so many other ways this game series could go, and I'm really curious about it. Like, I'm really curious to see where this goes. But that's not the reason you're here, right? Like, that's like, we've talked about a few ideas here and there, but let's talk about like some game characters that probably like a character wish list, and we might talk about guest characters a little later in the video, but I want to talk about like main DC characters I would absolutely love to see in Injustice 3. So let's talk about it. Starting off, I really want Plastic Man. I absolutely love the idea of Plastic Man in this game. There's so many ways you could, like, so many combos you could do, so many like long, like, I imagine he'd be a range character, but because of the stretching powers, so he might be long range. But yeah, Plastic Man would be a fun character. So many malleable takedowns and things like that. So Plastic Man, like he's still alive in the Injustice universe. So I would say, yeah, Plastic Man is my first and foremost pick for this for Injustice 3. Next character, this one might be a little more difficult because of rights within the Milestone universe, and that is Static. Static would be so much fun to have in Injustice. I know they played around with the idea of like Black Lightning for like an alternate Raiden skin, which also I would like Black Lightning. I think Black Lightning would be another solid one right there. But Static, everyone loves Static. Yeah. The only thing that I would say is like the only problem I would dare say is, again, you'd have to take it up with the estate of Dwayne McDuffie. Because that's like, I know a lot of people say like, oh, what about Static? When's Static coming to the universe? Coming to this or that? There's a rights issue between Milestone and DC that they always have to negotiate. So, but yeah, if they can't get Static, Black Lightning, totally fine as well. Speaking of here's another character I would love to see, Mr. Terrific. Mr. Terrific, he's already getting popular. He's gaining a lot of popularity because of the Superman movie, and we do know he is in the Injustice universe. So I think it would be really cool how to use the T-spheres in combat. Also, utilizing that he is a master hand-to-hand fighter would be awesome. So to have Mr. Terrific here would be really cool. Another character I would love to see, I would really like to see, as for like another suit, like let's talk about some villains real fast. Black Hand would be a cool one. I think Black Hand, the Green Lantern villain, would be really cool to see, like using his moves to like rip your heart out or consuming your life force. Because he is basically walking death. Black Hand is like walking death essentially. So Black Hand would be a cool one. He'd be a creepy villain too to have. Another villain, I think this guy's going to show up because again his popularity. I think King Shark's going to be in the game. Like, there's no way they wouldn't have King Shark at this point, because between video games and movies and other popularity, King Shark has made a name for himself. So I'm pretty goddamn sure they would probably have King Shark in the game. I'm very certain that they would probably have King Shark in the video game in some capacity. Anyway. What else was I going to say? So King Shark, so like I said, King Shark, I think another one would be Killer Croc. Croc is still out there in the Injustice universe, so to see him would be so to have him in the game would be cool. Another one I would have is Zatanna and Constantine. Zatanna and Constantine would be like two solid magic users. I think those two would really work. I think, again, Constantine would be a lot of fun using all that dark magic, and Zatanna as well. Because again, we got to see like a bit of the magic stuff with Dr. Fate, so maybe bring back some magic with either or both of them. Yeah. So real quick, I'm going to go through some. I'll probably do a more in-depth video talking about this, but I'm going to talk about some guest characters I would really like to see in Injustice 3 in the game series. So with Injustice 2, we got arguably some of the best guest characters like Hellboy, Raiden and Sub-Zero, excuse me. And of course the Ninja Turtles and Hellboy, all that. So characters I would really enjoy seeing, like guest characters I would really think would be really cool. If we're going to go back to a connection with Image Comics, I think Savage Dragon would be a solid pick. I think Savage Dragon, and also to give some love back to the 90s cartoon of Savage Dragon, because there was a 90s cartoon of Savage Dragon. Have Jim Cummings voice him, kind of like how they had Keith David come back to voice Spawn. So Savage Dragon is my number one pick for a guest character. For another guest character, I would really like to see. If we're going to do another Image character, maybe finally have Michonne or Rick from Walking Dead. I don't know, it'd be a little odd, and I feel like they'd be more Mortal Kombat related, but who knows if they want to work with Kirkman. Invincible, I think Invincible could work as well. I think Mark could easily work here because we had his father in the first game. So, yeah, just have Invincible here. It's not too violent, but I think he can still work. You just tone down the violence with Invincible, which shouldn't be too hard. As for who else? If we're gonna do more Mortal Kombat guest characters, I'm gonna say the two guest characters I would like to see, Mortal Kombat guest characters I would like to see in Injustice 3 are Johnny Cage and Sonya Blade, because I think it's high time we have a female guest character too. So Johnny and Sonya go hand in hand, so just do those two. Anyway, so there you go, guys. You guys tell me in the comments below, what are you guys' hopes for an Injustice 3 game? What characters are you hoping for? What story are you hoping for? Like, do you want the good ending or bad ending to be the canon ending? And what guest characters do you want to see? Just comment below, let me know. Other than that, I hope you all enjoyed this. I'm Mr. Multiverse. I'll see you next time in the Multiverse.